All right. Welcome to another episode of the Traveling Hoopers podcast. I am your host, Alan Pettigrew Jr., and in front of me is my best friend in the world, Calvin McGowan. Calvin, go ahead and let the people hear your name.
I mean, you just did. Anyway,
Voice name,
what's
go
up,
ahead.
y'all? What's up, y'all? Calvin McGowan, as always, it's a pleasure to be here.
All right, guys. So we are going to be doing the Traveling Hoopers show a little bit different during the off season because we ain't got nothing else to really like talk about. Like free agency is popping and whatnot, but in 2 weeks, at best, we're going to have some really stuff to talk about. So we're going to gamify this show a little bit. In the first game that we're going to be playing this off season is called "Where Is He Now?" Go ahead, clap, Calvin.
Woo!
I have the worst live studio audience ever. So, and "Where Is He Now?" We're going to be throwing out different names of players, and then Calvin has to guess where are they going to be playing this upcoming season. So we'll start off with a really simple one. It's not that simple. Calvin, where is Will Barton going?
Dang it.
Do 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 do. I got the answer for you. He is going to the Washington
Pacers?
Wizards.
That's probably wrong. Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he was actually traded from Denver to Washington for Monte for so Denver and Denver traded Will Barton and Monte Morris for Conservius Caldwell Pope and Ish Smith. Did not know Ish Smith was still in the league.
You don't really do much, so.
He really does. He a bucket though. He really quick. I'm surprised he's still like he has to be like 36 at this point. Yeah. All right. So the next two up are teammates. We're talking about the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Where are they now, Calvin?
They're both still on the Nets until further notice.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be like the most exciting move of the entire offseason. I also don't
I,
think this is going to happen during the offseason.
I am. I don't think so either, because it's just like Durant wants to get moved and Kyrie wants to get moved, but like people, teams don't seem that interested in Kyrie, and teams don't seem that interested in giving up all of their good young players for a couple of years of KD.
Yeah, and like I don't know if you've listened to like any podcasts from like people who cover the league. They seem like it is like a done deal that people want Kevin Durant at age 38. I mean, at age 34, who when his contract is over in 4 years is going to be 38 years old. Like I love Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is one of my favorite basketball players of all time great. He can do whatever he wants. One of the best scorers we've ever seen. After what I saw the Celtics do to him during the playoffs, I do not know what is going to happen unless you pair him with like another superstar. And when I mean superstar, I mean like upper tier level superstar where Kevin Durant can easily slide into being like the number two. Like places that I'm hearing are Denver. Denver and Nikola Jokic and Kevin Durant together would be insane, but they would also have to gut that team of any like real talent that they would have. Like Michael Porter Jr. probably has to go, even though I think they have like some type of rule in his contract where you really can't let him go, and you probably got to trade Jamal Murray, who both players are like coming off injuries, so it's a little like we don't know what they're gonna be right now.
Mm-hmm. And my understanding was that KD wanted to only wanted to play on only wanted to play on a team with like two other superstars or something.
Yeah.
Two stars, another all-star or something. And
Yeah.
like that limits what Brooklyn can do severely.
Yeah. And it's only like four teams. Like I almost feel like at this point it is a bit more of a gut check to like their front office to be like, hey, if you don't if you don't act right, we'll leave. And it's like, that's cool. You still under contract. Like, like I don't like at the end of the day, I don't as much as we talk about player empowerment, the true power is still with teams and organizations. Unless you just want to sit out, and that's cool too. We'll just well, not in the Nets case. We'll just get like a lottery pick for you sitting out and like it's a two-way street. We'll all look bad here. And is me personally, I don't care. I would sit on my hands and be like, that's cool. Especially if I'm like Joe Tsai, where I'm like have like endless amounts of money. Like I'll take the L.
That's
Yeah.
fair. And like as far as like as far as like Kyrie though, also like he just he's not a dude who wins games by himself. And like I get that like nobody like no one can really do it truly solo, right? In the most literal sense of it. But like the teams so like his only ring is with LeBron. And the Celtics were better without him and have been better without him. Like to be like, you know what? Like it makes it hard for a lot. I feel like it makes it hard for a lot of like GMs and coaches to look at Kyrie and go, you know what? We're missing that guy.
I'm if your offense is a little bit anemic, like if you have like a world class defense, which most like mediocre teams do not, Kyrie's your dude. Like if you got like a bunch of solid defenders, because at the end of the day, Kyrie is one of the better scoring options in the NBA right now. Like 1-on-1, you give him some space, put him on an island. Kyrie's gonna walk away with 2 points. Even if it's an awful shot, he's gonna walk away with 2 points. But at the end of the day, that's like all he can do is score. And 24 points is 24 points. Like you can't get mad at it. It's the whole thing. It's the true reason why I love the Brooklyn Nets to begin with, is because that is the greatest ancillary piece. If you can put everything else around him where he doesn't have to do anything, you have a automatic bucket along with other people that can play well. So uh, we're gonna see what's gonna happen there. That's going to be a really fun episode to do in like I don't know 6 months. I don't see this happening anytime soon. That's around February. Uh, we're gonna move on with the next person, Calvin, Jalen Brunson. Where is he?
Dang it. I was just looking at this. It's just like
Do do
crap.
do 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 do
The
do
Knicks?
do. Yes. Yo, $106 million over the next 4 years. I like Jalen Brunson a lot. I was one of like the first people when he came out of Villanova to really be like, just watching his rookie year with Luke and being like, no, this dude is going to command a lot of money and a lot of attention. It just so happens that he didn't have his true breakout until this year in the playoffs. I really wish he would have stayed in Dallas, personally. That combination with him and Luka actually gives Luka somebody that he can give the ball to, where it's not just an issue. Now the fit with the Knicks, however, I don't have a lot to say about this because it's the Knicks. I try not to talk about bad situations because it makes me feel a little icky on the inside. But I'm not sure what this does for them at all, outside of like big name signing, big-ish name signing.
I I think the idea is that they have like an actual legitimately good point guard for real going forward. And like that's not to take away from because hasn't Derrick Rose been there for the last few years? That's not
Yeah,
to take away from him, but I think it's just like he's not the dude he was when his knees had not been before his knees had been turned to dust. Um, like uh, and like he's still a good player, but I don't think he doesn't move the needle in the same way that I think Brunson would at this point. And that ignores the various other issues with the Knicks. The first problem being that they're the Knicks. Um, right? And Randall didn't play as well last season as he did the season prior. Um, what? Uh, Barrett was pretty good. I want to think.
Yeah,
Right, they have solid young players. But I think the hope is that like Brunson's going to be that point guard going forward, and ultimately we'll see. Um, but like it's the Knicks. I'm only have confidence when they have continued success.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm completely on the same boat as you. The only thing I could really think of where this is like effective, they just brought in a dude who's young enough to really be on the same timeline as Barrett, if that's who they think is going to be their dude for the future, along with like Cam Reddish, if he ever figures it out, if Cam Reddish is even still with the Knicks. I know I saw some stuff about him earlier in the offseason, which was like 2-3 days ago. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Galvin, our next contestant on Where Is He Now? Is DeJounte Murray.
Dang it! I just
All right.
crap.
I'll give you a hint. Bird. I'll give you another
Oh,
hint.
the Hawks.
Yes. Yeah, he
Uh,
just
I'm sorry, you said Bird, and I thought Celtics, and I'm like, wait, I know he's not a Celtic.
see that was a good hit. If I misled you any type of way, but yeah, Dejounte Murray partner up with Trey Young is going to be really interesting. Uh, Trey Young is most effective on the ball. At least that's what he showed for the last couple of years. But Dejounte Murray actually needs the ball because he does not shoot that well at this point. So it's good that Trey Young finally has somebody in the backcourt that can defend. I guess Kevin Porter wasn't enough, but he tried. Again, this is another move that at the end of the day does not feel like it moves the needle for the team. Like we already know they can make it to a play-in game, or at least make it to the playoffs. That's it. They can make it to the playoffs with a guy like DeJounte Murray.
So fairness, I'm not sure how it ends up shaping up for the Hawks. Obviously, Murray is an excellent player, and he's been on the Spurs, which have not been good the last couple years. This is not to like talk mess about like the organization or Popovich. It's just like the talent collectively hasn't been there, and like they're not the top free agency destination or anything, in spite of being an excellent organization and whatnot. Um, so the Spurs, I guess, are just like Murray is good, but like we're not about to win anytime soon, and he probably does have a better shot to be successful in the short term with the Hawks. But like the Hawks were also not particularly good last year after a fairly strong showing the year before as well. Um, so we'll see. In the meantime, my understanding is Popovich is gonna have fun coaching this team that's pretty much guaranteed to be garbage.
Yeah. Uh, One thing that always kind of has like thrown me off with like this entire situation is I don't know what they're expecting. Like I kind of get it with the Spurs, but I also don't. Like they just seem like they're stacking a bunch of young talent with the Hawks. Outside of their backcourt that's been secured, I don't know anything else about this team that is like remarkable. Like as far as I remember, John Collins still wants to leave. So
I thought,
So they're in like a really tricky situation where it's kind of like nice move, but you're still middle of the pack.
okay, okay. For some reason, I wanted to think he'd gotten traded.
Yeah. Now he was on the trade block, but we gonna see now. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our next contestant. On where is he now? Calvin, where is Juan Toscano Anderson?
Lakers.
Yeah, I like the move. I do. One, mainly because he was getting no PT with the Warriors last year. Like, it went from really good story. Everybody, let's look at Juan Toscano Anderson to him being like on the bench and being like, weren't you actually kind of good last year? Like, what happened? Did they? How do you like fall out of love with a player that quickly? Um, but I think he'll be effective with the Lakers. Like, they need another defender, and as far as I'm concerned, this is insurance for the always injured Anthony Davis. Like, just on the defensive end. Like, I don't know what he can do offensively to really help this team out outside of finished plays. But defense, the Lakers sucked at it last year.
Didn't they? They sucked at a lot of things last year.
Yeah, they suck at everything. It's the Lakers. Come on, man.
Look, I was trying to be nice.
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, but I think it might, in his case, it might simply have been a case of with, just kind of the ascendance of Poole and Klay Thompson coming back, right, and like having Gary Payton on the team. Like he just kind of got squeezed out of the backcourt rotation, more so than maybe they're like having a dislike of him, like him falling out of favor, or like him, like not being good at, like somehow getting worse, like not being good enough to get minutes. It's probably just as simple as there just weren't minutes for him anymore on that team.
But did you peep that you just named a bunch of guards? Juan plays the four.
I'm not gonna lie, I've always thought of him as a guard for some reason. My bad.
Yeah, you good, man. All right. Calvin, where is Andre Drummond?
Let's see. No. The the Rockets?
No, same color scheme though. He is with the Bulls.
Okay, yeah. I think I missed that. It was like I was trying to think, wait, where'd Drummond go? And he's like, my first thing was like the Pistons. It's like, no, that not the Pistons. It's just like I don't. Fairness, he'll probably be a good backup for them. He was been a pretty good backup before. Um, I I don't know. It was just kind of see, I guess.
Yeah, no, this feels like you just picked up a decent backup big. Congratulations. Um, this does not get you over the hump in any way possible, but it is nice to see that you were trying. Like I appreciate the effort. Um, you just gonna be back where you are next year though. Moving on, Calvin. Where's Bradley Bill?
He's still with the Wizards, and his guarantee that they will suck for the entire time he is there.
Hey, but he's insanely rich, so it's okay, right?
I mean, I guess. I mean, like if he's cool with it, like I'm not about to stop him.
Hey, how much does someone have to pay you for you to be mediocre for, and I mean team success wise, for the rest of your career, which is like 5 more years?
I mean, clearly the answer for him is like a supermax.
Yeah, Galvin, I'm gonna be real with you. If somebody gave us $200 million for this podcast, dog, I'd be okay with 7 views.
Yeah, yeah.
Every single week.
Yeah, probably. I'm not gonna
Produce the
lie.
podcast gladly, my boy.
But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if I was a basketball player, though, I would be trying to do a little bit better than mediocre for my career with a fuck ton of money, because I was gonna get a fuck ton of money anyway.
Would you? Realistically speaking, for Bradley Bill, on a contender, is he getting a supermax?
I mean, no. Like they can't. Like it's the whole issue of the supermax to begin with, though, right? The problem with supermax is that it severely handicaps your team's ability to build a team around you. Like, and that's why it doesn't work as well as like teams had hoped it would for keeping talent there. It's like, yes, you get the bag, but you've basically guaranteed that like you're on the eighth seed now
Yeah,
for at best for the foreseeable future.
yeah. You, this is a comparison that I feel like nobody makes, and I'm pretty sure we'll get canned for this because they have completely different play styles. But as far as impact goes, Bradley Beal and Kyrie Irving are the same player to me.
I,
Bradley Beal, albeit less efficient and minorly less talented, because what Kyrie does is just like you can't teach that. And if you did teach it, it literally takes having a dad who was almost an NBA player, a uh, a godfather who was one of the best finishing guards of all time, and connections to Steve Nash, all growing up, which is a triumvirate of like super talented stuff happening that just happens to fall on you
I,
while also growing up in like one of the like hotbeds of basketball. Like that doesn't happen again. And then you have Bradley Beal, super talented, great body, 6'4", really good scorer, but he's from St. Louis, Missouri, where it's not like a ton of talent. But for you to come out of there, you gotta be a dude. He's been a dude his entire like basketball career. It just hasn't accumulated to anything. Like,
so I'm gonna make an argument. I On most teams, I would rather have Beal than Irving, because right, Beal, and we can check the numbers on this. I suppose it's theoretically possible that I'm wrong. Like Beal is a much better shooter. I feel like his game is so while Kyrie is a good like number two and whatever, and like it's worked before, obviously with LeBron, that in terms of probably ideal spot on like a championship team, Beal is similar to like Clay Thompson in that his game is probably like his game, like while he might be good enough to be a number one option, his game is better built to be a number two. It's just it's a stylistic thing more than some kind of lack of ability. Um, and like also, it's keep in mind that some of the issues with lack of success over time of like the Wizards or like any number of other teams is just the fact that like oftentimes front offices have struggled to put the talent around their marquee players that they really needed to be as successful as they had hoped to be, and sometimes just like make questionable decisions, um, like just like overplaying players and stuff. And I get some level of overpay, but not if it's like a handicaps your team kind of thing. Related note, this is unrelated to what we're talking about, right? Well, it's kind of related. Um, is there a team somewhere still technically paying Timothy Mozgov?
I think the Lakers are the last people that had their fingers on Timothy Mozgov. And my boy Luol Deng was still getting checks up until like 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
it they could be. They could be.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to have like somebody fully document and probably like make a book that explains the time from when Kobe Bryant, RIP, tore his Achilles to now. Like this generation of the Lakers is ridiculous. Like from financial places, from winning, from like culture, like the ups and the downs, the peaks and the valleys are absolutely ridiculous for this organization. And to me, it's hilarious. But as a fan, I know this has to be like emotionally draining. Like I can't do it. Like I took a break from the OKC and they still like fun to watch. I'm just not about to watch it because I don't feel like being stressed out. I remember when we were like amazing. So I can't imagine being like a Lakers fan and remembering when they were good. Like I can't do that.
Like, I mean, in fairness, I'm pretty sure most Lakers fans can't do it either. But um, like, I don't know. I guess like the advantage the Lakers have is that they're the Lakers and have deep pockets and are set up in LA and they aren't the Clippers. Um, and what that means is that they can, at least for now, right? Because like um being in a great location has not saved the Knicks. Um, but like they can be awful for an extended period of time and still convince some dude to come play to convince an elite level player to come play for them because they are the Lakers and they are in LA. Um, and like they can pay through the nose as long as they don't care about luxury tax. And I don't think they've ever cared about luxury tax. Um, but like that doesn't stop you from being ass with poor planning.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of Lakers fans are comparative. I feel like compared to a lot of other franchises, their fans are comparatively very bandwagon. At the moment, the other team, like the only team that's really comparable is Golden State.
Mm.
Um, and that has a lot more to do with Golden State, Steph Curry, and all the chips in the last decade or so. Um, whereas right, the Lakers, had Magic and Kareem and Wilt Chamberlain and Kobe and Shaq and all these players throughout the like they have consistently, if not necessarily won constantly, they've been successful on a fairly regular basis. Um, and successful bring you fans and whatever. That or just like having really exciting players to watch. Kobe would be that young when he was young in particular. Um, so fairness, I have no idea how it feels to be a Lakers fan, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm okay with that. Um, but uh, like I don't know, like the Grizzlies were good for a while, and then we were ass for a couple years, and we were good again, and like we were ass.
Calvin, don't you bring the goddamn Grizzlies into this conversation, bro? Like, look, I don't want you guys have a claim to fame of being tough and losing in the Western Conference Finals. Do not compare yourself with what you have going on
Look,
because media size, location, and winning culture are all three things that are not comparable to in any way, shape, or form right now. So I'm not gonna let you do it.
the
Not gonna let you do
I mean, like I don't care shit. It is
it.
what it is. I don't care about Lakers fans. I'm not gonna act like I do. Like the only Lakers fans I care about are ones that I know personally, and like it is what it is. But what I mean when I say this is just that like being good and being trash are just part of just part of how franchises tend to work on average, right? There are teams who, when they play it smart, can potentially avoid this, but it's hard to pull off. The only team I'm aware of who might be able to pull this off at the moment is the Warriors, and like that still came with like being garbage for like 2 years and just picking Willie, and even then picking well in the draft.
Yeah.
Um, and like again, the thing that the Lakers can be terribly run and still be a good franchise in spite of itself.
Mm. I
You
feel
know
like you
full well
can't.
the only
I feel like you
you know full
can't
well
be
the only
both.
exception. Huh?
I feel like you can't be both. You can't be a good franchise and be terribly run. Like you can have good things come from a bad situation, but you can't be poorly run and good. Like
This is your
that's not how that
reminder that
works.
like the Lakers were asked when LeBron decided to sign with them.
They still suck. They won one chip, but they still suck. They still suck.
Yeah.
Realistically, even with LeBron being there every single time, still suck. And Calvin, we got to get back to the show with inside the show. But before we do, I do need to understand how good we are at making content. Did you see how we got Lakers and Kyrie in the same conversation without actually sending him to the Lakers? Bro, we so cold at this. But let's go ahead and move on. Calvin, Kyle Anderson, slow mo. Where is he now?
Minnesota.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna save the biggest piece of what's going on with the Timberwolves. Actually, we're just gonna go ahead and jump because Kyle Anderson not big enough fish to fry. He's just a cool name that I was hoping you guys didn't know.
He's kind of fun.
Calvin, where is Rudy Gobert?
Your hold on. Your audio kind of cut out. But to answer your question, he's also in Minnesota.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that trade? Because I am still on the fence about
I
my.
cannot hear you. Oh, hold up. That's on my end. Uh, what in the world? Okay, give me a second.
Okay.
Cut this part out. Hooray for technical difficulties.
Right. Best part of the podcast.
You don't need to do anything. This is on my end. I don't know why it's doing it.
All right. Hear me?
Okay, there we're back.
All right. We're back. Give me one quick second. We'll start at 10. All right. Fuck. Where did we leave off?
Go
You
Bear.
just said okay. We'll start at 20. Yeah. So Calvin, how do you feel about the trade overall? Because I personally like it. I think this gives them like the defensive edge that they actually need. They are giving up some pieces that I also like for them. Like I like Jared Vanderbilt. He's super solid as a backup four who can also play a little bit of five. I've always liked Malik Beasley. Wings like that are always going to be in style for like, especially right now for what we're doing. The 5 first-round picks is kind of crazy for a franchise who has been crappy for years. Now they might never ever have to use like lottery picks, considering they got Anthony Edwards. I think if you got him, you got Cat, and you got like a third dude, they're always going to be playoff teams where you probably picking around in the 20s anyway. But just shine some light on what you think about this, because I'm a
I'm not
little
gonna lie.
excited.
I'm not sure. Like I'm gonna say this. I don't think it was like I don't think it's some kind of awful decision. But like you said, all those first round picks is a lot. It gave a lot of pieces that like I'm not sure if like getting rid of them was necessarily the best idea unto itself. But like Gobert is one of the best defenders in the league. Um, and he, like you said, he adds a lot to their defense. He doesn't add much to their offense, but like they don't need him to. They just need him to get rebounds and block shots.
Yeah.
Um, Trying to get to the rim on them will be interesting.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Well, we talked about this in the group chat. I think he messes up the spacing. Like Cat has already showed that he can shoot well from the perimeter. He can even create in like the mid post. So you got a little bit of room for Anthony Edwards to do what he does best, and that's dunk on people or at least get to the rim.
Mhm.
Rudy Gobert is literally going to drag their big man in the fray. Like, and that's fine because Anthony Edwards is disrespectful and will just put his nuts on the top of that man's face. But that's going to just like inevitably slow stuff and clog the lane up. Like, I don't, there are certain franchises that every time they make a move, even if it seems like a good move, I look twice at it. Minnesota is always going to be a franchise I look twice at about whatever they do because they haven't done anything substantial in what 40 years of being a team. Like,
They've pretty much like their only like really good seasons basically involved either involved Kevin Garnett or like that one season of Jimmy Butler,
yeah,
unless I'm forgetting someone.
and I'm gonna be that dude. If you consider barely getting to the playoffs, like you literally won the last game of the season to get into the playoffs as a good year, that's a telltale sign that you are a very bad franchise. Like nothing they've ever did makes me happy and or excited about basketball in Minnesota. And they are the reason why. Like they're like I want to know how long their front office has been there and if it's the same people that was there during like Kevin Garnett era. Because if it is, please just fire them. Like this has to be like a family owned operation because there's no reason why you're bad for like almost 40 years. Like that's
I,
institutional at that point.
oh no, it definitely is. I don't really have answers for you because like all the pretty much all the dudes that they had that mattered did better on other teams, um, or like had more success on other teams, which I don't really have the answers for that. But as far as I can tell, the closest they're going to get to like ending that is Anthony Edwards, and like I feel like there might be a legit concern that like Gobert's contract might throw that off somewhat. Now I'm thinking about it out loud because okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but a supermax is still a supermax even if like you get traded, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and so like the money's gonna come due, um, and like of course they're gonna try and pay Edwards, and I'm pretty sure Towns is on a long term deal already. Like that's not an immediate concern. Um, but there's still what D'Angelo, Russell, and like y'all still and they still have to find a bench for these dudes to play with. Um, and I don't know, shoot.
No, I get it. Like this is a baffling decision. Um,
Also, it occurs to me that I'm pretty sure Gobert would be the closest thing to a veteran on this squad, or like
I
would be the
was thinking
veteran on
about
this
that too.
squad, and
Yeah.
like Anthony Edwards is in charge now. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I love Anthony
Um,
Edwards.
yeah.
This is the person who needs to. My bad. I was about to say who needs to step up. That man is naturally just gonna step up. Like that's what Anthony Edwards does when he is there. The show is his. Um, with that being said, that man like 21. I do not have a lot of faith in franchises that are led by dudes that like are just now able to drink. Like you still got a lot of dumb tendencies, and I'm not saying that as like you as a person. I mean, you just don't know like the full game of basketball yet. You're wildly talented. You can get a lot of stuff done, but we're not sure exactly what level of superstar or star we're dealing with Anthony Edwards. Like there is a boomer bust that happens with him, and I'm talking about not him as like a player. I'm talking about him as like franchise anchor because they can either be like, "Hey, we're going to make it to the second round of the playoffs for the next 5 years," or they can be like, "We're going to be really fun to watch." And
Uh,
there is a huge
fair
difference
enough.
in either one. And I vote Minnesota comes to Kansas City because they just I think a change of scenery would help them out a lot. And Kansas City fans is enough like
Yeah.
assholes and like diehard fans where you got to make something right eventually. At least that's what I keep telling myself because We're not even going to talk
You
about
just
it.
want an NBA franchise there that like is still there because they had one at some point way
Yeah.
back.
Sacramento owe us a franchise. I don't care what nobody say.
Okay, that's
Calvin,
where it went. Okay. Mm-hmm.
where is he now? Lou Dort.
Isn't he still with the Thunder?
Yeah, they re-upped him. Um, I like Lou Dort a lot. Like back in my reporter days, one of the first articles I ever wrote was a piece talking about like 5 prospects that I really think that the Thunder needed to draft, and Lou Dort was like #1 on that list because you need a big defensive guard, and that's all you really needed at the time. That fits the mold of OKC. You know, they always have that one non-offensive player on the court that can't do anything besides lock up. But Lou Dort learned how to shoot like in the bubble, and it's like been progressing ever since. I'm fine with him. I know they're talking about like when you like basically whatever they're on right now, their timeline is literally 2026. Nobody on that roster realistically is ready to play big boy ball outside of like Shea Gilgeous Alexander. Everybody else waiting in the wings. Uh, I guess we got to shout out to Chet Holmgren. I'll see you in like 2026. Uh, so it is really good to see that they have that. But a dude like Lou Dort is going to be a great veteran for those guys. Like he is like the elder statesman there, even though he's only been in the league like 6 years. So it's gonna be like a really interesting thing to see how it plays out. If they even keep him, his deal's not too bad. So if they wanted to trade him or like put a package together for like a superstar later on, definitely could. Um, but we shall see. We're gonna move on. Calvin, where is he now? PJ Tucker.
I actually
Do
don't know this one. I'm gonna take a guess. I'm gonna take a guess. Uh,
numbers.
Indiana.
I'll give you a guess. Numbers.
Oh, well, like you already told me now, the 76ers.
I did. Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I kind of like this fit with the 76ers. Again, like defender.
I mean, Tucker works with most teams, though, I think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why I like the fit. Like just big burly defender that you can just throw at somebody, which
pretty
is
much, yeah.
always good. Hey, and realistically speaking, that dude is one of the great mercenaries in the NBA right now. Like wherever he goes, his team is going to compete. He's going to have a solid role, and his role is really conducive to the way that team plays and wins.
Mhm.
Because he's that good of a defender. Like the shot's not really there anymore, but he's just going to help you. And like we gonna see what 76ers do, but I like this. I like this a lot. All right. Where is he now? JaVale McGee.
Crap. It was something.
Do
I'm gonna say the Kings. I'm like 90% sure it's not the Kings.
Ooh no, I'm gonna give you a hint. The colors are blue, black, and white.
The,
The colors are
the,
blue, black, and white. I'll give you another hint. The horses.
the horses.
The
Oh,
horses.
the Pistons. Wait,
No.
dang it. Look, just give me the answer.
The Dallas Mavericks. Come on, man.
Look,
We
I
we
didn't pay. I didn't pay attention to the McGee one. I'm sorry.
yeah. Hey, we lose one lovable giant and we get another one back in JaVale McGee. Um, good for defense, really is. Again, just a Boban replacement. Like starting to back up center at this point does not move the needle. Like they're literally right back where they were at the end of the offseason which is, if you make it to Western Conference Finals, that might be a good thing. We'll see going forward. Calvin, where is he now? Bobby Portis. Do,
He's
do, do, do,
he's still
do.
with the Bucks, isn't he?
He is. He resigned.
Yeah.
All right. Malik Monk.
Charlotte.
No. I'll give
Uh,
you a hint. They stole our franchise.
oh, the Kings.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Great to see the Kentucky duo in backcourt back together. But again, the Kings are another franchise that every time they make a move, I am like, I don't care. Like they have not given me any reason to ever value anything that they do. And this is not a knock on you, Malik Monk. Like you deserve to be in the league. You have a place here. You are a good off the bench scorer who can just kind of pop in, give you some microwave, and play a little bit of defense. Everything else that happens from there, I'm blaming the Sacramento Kings, bro. Like I don't care if it's win, lose, draw. You had the worst year of your career. It's the Kings' fault. Never gonna blame you. Trust me. Uh, Moving on. This is a really big one in our last one of the Where Is He Now game, and that is Malcolm Brogdon.
Crap.
Do
Is he
do
not
do
still with
do do
the
do.
Pacers?
He is not. He got traded recently.
Crap. Uh,
Would you like a hint?
let's see. Who needed a point guard? Hold up. No, not yet. Clippers.
Incorrect. Would you like a hint?
Crap. Just tell me.
Oh, come on. You're no fun. He's playing for the Celtics now. Come on, man. Celtics.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Celtics needed a point guard. Malcolm Brogdon was open. And I've never seen such a player heavy trade for someone who's not an all-star. Like the Celtics gave away a lot of pieces that were
I
semi
thought they didn't give
important.
away anybody that was. Did they though? Like, I remember if I'm wrong, but if memory serves, looking at that trade, they didn't give up anybody that was getting real minutes.
So the last few people that are part of the trade did not have serious minutes. But Daniel Tice got probably about like 15 to 20 minutes a game during the playoffs. Aaron
Okay.
Naismith at some point fell out of the rotation, but he was there at the beginning of the playoffs, probably like 15 minutes or so. And then we go to dudes like Nick Stauskas, who is a dude that came back to the league at like the end of the year, basically, where it's kind of like, wow, they picked you up just in case they needed to do something else. Malik Fitz, never heard of Malik Fitz. Had no idea he was even on the roster. Uh, Oklahoma State great Jawan Morgan, did not know he was still in the league. And then they gave away a first round pick. So it's like a bunch of dudes that don't exactly move the needle, but Aaron Naismith is young enough to like turn into something else. Nick Stauskas, he can shoot. He can shoot. He went to Michigan, being nice. But I really think it's that 2023 first round pick that does a little bit more. That 2023 draft, we'll see, especially when college basketball starts. If you even get like you're picking 25th, there's a chance that you got a really good rotation player coming in. So, like, that's worth giving up Malcolm Brogdon, especially when you got so many people in your front court. And I'm speaking for the Pacers in this situation. Like, they're going to be solid and fine without Malcolm Brogdon and also continue to suck a little bit so they can get somebody else. So draft capital and like shaving a little bit of money off the books, but they like weirdly gutted themselves for a point guard who isn't exactly known for anything crazy outside of like having size for the position and playing solid defense. So again, we'll see how all this transpires in like 2 months when the actual basketball starts again. Yeah. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of the Traveling Hoopers. Guys, we will be doing theme shows all the way until like preseason, where we can like pretend like we care about the basketball that is being played. But of course, November something is when the league actually starts, and we'll be back in full force. Until then, we'll be in very floral shirts until the season is back together. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I have been your host, Alan Prediger Jr. And in front of me is my good friend, Calvin McGowan. Calvin, go ahead and sign out for us.
Once again, everybody, I'm Kyle McGowan. Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of the Traveling Hooper podcast. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast. If you're joining us on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, leave something in the comments. Um, and I am actually really happy that Kennedy Shanley got drafted to the guy, like is on the Grizzlies. But that's a separate discussion. Enjoy the rest of your week.